city. DC, that's where I'm from. 1130 podcast. Dre on wheels, he is the one. Let's get it. Yeah. Who with me? Let's get it. Yeah. No, with me. Yeah. I'm from the city. DC, that's where I'm from. Let's get it. 1130 podcast. Dre on wheels, he is the one.
He the one, nigga.
So let's get it, baby.
He the one.
Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. Y'all already know what it is, man. Welcome back, you guys, to the 1130 podcast. What's goody? How everybody doing out there, man? Appreciate you guys joining me back here. It's Wednesday. Yo, it's the 1130 podcast. It's time for how everybody doing, man. Good morning, good night, good afternoon to all my listeners all across the world, man. All my subscribers, man. For real, how you guys' day going? Shout out to everybody, man, who's listening on EB Radio this morning. Yo, for real. And everybody who's watching on YouTube, and for all you guys who's new to the channel and stuff, man, y'all already know what it is, man. Hit that subscribe button down below. Smash the notification bell. Yes. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. Yes, leave a comment and share it so we can get the 1130 podcast up and out there even more. And also, you guys, man, don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms. But you guys, man, yo, it's Wednesday, and you know what time it is, man. It's time for the podcast, man. It's going to be a dope one this week. I got a great guest, you guys, lined up this week on the 1130 podcast, man, coming to you guys. Yo, she's from Louisiana, you guys. She's the host of Dope Discussions with Erica, you guys. She's a love coach. She's the owner and founder, you guys, of Co-Each Life Coaching, and she's a best-selling author. She got a book out on Amazon called Dear Single Moms. Yo, we're going to dive into all of that. It's going to be great, you guys. But before we do, I want to shout out my guy who was on last week on the podcast, my man, A. Millie. Appreciate you for stopping past here on the podcast, my guy. Yo, that new mixtape is fire. Yo, man, we had to represent the city, man. I appreciate you stopping past here on the podcast last week, my guy. But you guys, man, like I said, we're going to get into the show. Erica Warren, you guys, from Louisiana. Yo, Erica, how's it going?
It's going great, Dre. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm just doing wonderful. No problem. I'm glad that you responded back and was, happy to come on the show, and, I'm glad. So I appreciate you joining me this week on the podcast.
Always.
Okay. How's your day going so far?
I've been enjoying it. Just lounging around the house, watching TV and eating food.
Okay. So just chilling on this day. Okay,
yes.
Okay, that's cool. Like I was saying before we got started, we connected in the groups, just a lot of people that I've had on my podcast, just networking, and I've been rocking the podcast for a year and about 4 months going on, and it's so amazing, like I said, to keep meeting like-minded people to do podcasts and, just have them on my podcast to also share their story and just talk about just everything. So once again, I appreciate you joining me here. For my listeners and viewers who are not familiar with you, you might introduce yourself a little bit, please.
Well, my name is Erica Warren. I'm from Hammond, Louisiana. I'm a best-selling author of 3 women's books, inspirational books. I am a life coach for women, virtual life coach. I help women in the areas of self-love, life purpose, dating coaching, and breakup recovery. And I'm also the co-host of the Dope Discussions with Erica podcast with my boy Gator Live.
Okay, that's really cool. Yeah, Gator is my man. I had him on the podcast a couple of times, so it's always cool to chop it up with Gator. Then I'm chopping it up with you, and of course, you just mentioned you're the host, of course, Dope Discussions with Erica, and you do a plethora of things, and you have best-selling author books, and everything. But before we get into all the good stuff here on the podcast, how we do it each and every week, we started off with the WTF moment of the week, and it may have been a crazy week, it may have been a good week for some people. But here on the podcast, I share my WTF moments. I allow my guests to go first if they have a WTF moment they may have seen, heard, or experienced throughout the week.
Okay. My WTF moment was the passing of DMX.
Okay.
That was and I guess that will be one for probably the whole nation.
Yeah.
Because I can just remember a couple of weeks ago, I had all of his music in my rotation, in my playlist. working out at the gym, I never stopped listening to his music. And I knew that he was, had a issue with drugs, but not hearing from him for a while, I thought maybe he had gotten it under control. I didn't know that it was still, as bad as it was. So rest in peace to DMX. His music will live on.
Yeah, you're right about that. It will definitely live on. Just like you said, I thought, he done got better and stuff because I done seen a couple of stuff where he was in rehab or he was doing at least a little bit good. I don't know. Maybe I, had the wrong sources or whatnot. But, to hear about the whole story about, him passing last Friday, it was very sad. Of course, one song, at least for DMX, to me, it stuck out a lot. I'm slipping and I fall and can't get up,
My favorite.
And how I talk about in my documentary from, walking and being in the wheelchair, that resonated so well with me. And that was my song. So rest in peace to DMX. He will truly be missed, and his music will be played a lot in the next coming months. But you guys, my WTF moment, it's crazy. It's crazy, you guys. We had Easter Sunday, I think it was about a week ago or so on a Sunday. And a guy and his son were, out on Easter Sunday chilling or whatnot. And I guess they decided to stop at a gas station to, get some snacks or whatnot. The guy bought a 6-year-old son some Cheetos, some flaming hot Cheeto puffs. You like Cheeto hot puffs?
Yes.
Okay. Me too. They're pretty good. We bought his son some hot Cheeto puffs. To come to find out, once he opened up the bag and while he was in the store, somehow, it was a bullet in the bag of hot flaming Cheetos. People were asking questions like, were you outside or anything? Did it fall in the bag? But no. So, they reached out to Fritos or whatnot, who makes the hot Cheetos, and they doing some investigation. I saw that and I was just like, WTF, for a 6-year-old to, be eating some hot Cheetos and find a bullet, spent bullet cap in his Cheetos. That don't sit well. So
they're gonna have some questions to answer.
Yeah.
Because that could have gone really bad if that child wasn't paying attention and maybe swallowed that or something.
Yeah, you're right. It could have went wrong. So, man, oh man, WTF right there. Like, Cheetos, come on, man. Like, y'all coming out every other month or so. They coming out with new flaming hot Cheetos, and I guess this one was just too hot for this one.
Next time I reach for a bag, I'm gonna be checking the bag inside first.
Oh man, WTF, you guys, WTF. But you guys, man, we gonna move on here on the 1130 podcast. My guest, you guys, Erica here. Once again, I appreciate you joining me. I mentioned earlier in the podcast, you're a life coach. You do a lot of things. I visit your website and just, was just doing my research and stuff. And one thing that stuck out on your website that you talk about, because you talk about, of course, relationships and everything that you been through and stuff. It's just how I am, especially when people first get into relationships. They tend to don't last very long because you got, either one is immature or maybe both is still immature, never grown up yet. But it's just how I am. Take it or leave it. Can you explain that, and why is that? Because I feel as though if you meet a person and they're just saying, hey, just take it, that's just how I am, they're very immature and they're not ready to sacrifice or be in a relationship. That's just how I feel. I don't think they really have the right mindset.
Right, because every relationship is a growth opportunity. It's an opportunity to learn something new about yourself, about the world. And if we can't get outside of ourselves and look at how the world experiences us and how other people, especially people that we value, that we want to be in relationships with, we have to see from their eyes how we are as experienced and how we show up in relationships. We're not perfect. There's always room for improvement. At the core of every person, you want to be loved and accepted for who you are. But, you should not be naive and not believing that you do have areas of improvement and things that you can improve on and things that you can change. And it's not to say that you're changing for other people or that people don't accept you for who you are, but you can always get better. And so if you have that fixed mindset that this is just who I am, just take it or leave it, then a lot of people gonna leave it. Mm-hmm. And you don't want to go through life alone. So it's always good to be introspective and just be checking up on yourself to make sure that you are showing up the best way you can in every relationship.
Yeah, you're right. Do you think people don't want to change because they've been hurt in past relationships?
Yes, I definitely do. And that's going to come with a lot of level of healing and not putting that responsibility on the people that you're in a relationship. A lot of times we will take all of our baggage from our past relationships and we'll throw it at the feet of the person in front of us and say, so if you want me, then this is all the things that come with me, which is not fair because they probably got their own load of stuff that they have to deal with in order to be a better person for you. So I think both individuals should be actively working on the things that they bring to the table to make sure that it doesn't become a burden for the person that you're in a relationship. There's always going to be some level of baggage that you're going to accumulate in a relationship from that other person, but just don't let it overload the actual relationship and being able to experience and enjoy each other.
Yeah, you are right. You're right about that. And it just seems though like nowadays, in relationships, of course, breakups and they happen so wild and funny nowadays. People like to break up either over the phone or over social media and stuff like that. Breakups in 2021. I don't think they, how they were back in the days. People get on social media and be like, "Yo, I'm done." And like you couldn't call, you couldn't pick up the phone and text me, or you couldn't meet and talk. Like
sometimes you might find out they broke up with you through a Facebook update. You didn't know. You found out when the world found out. I think, what was that last year? There was some celebrity, I can't remember exactly, but I think they found out that their spouse filed for divorce through an Instagram post. So that's what relationships have been reduced to, is social media updates, likes, comments, shares, going viral. We've taken all of the precious moments of our life, things that are supposed to be intimate and only between us and another person, and we've used that to get clout in the world. And that's why it is so difficult now for people to maintain relationships and to actually, start relationships, because you just never know what the motivation from that other person is, especially if you're there for the right reason. It's hard to be 100% sure if that other person is also there for the same reason you're there for. So yeah, relationships now have become a lot more difficult because of social media and technology. That's my personal opinion.
You're right about that, because you got some relationships just will end because someone will feel, oh, you're not posting me, or you liking this, or you liking that. Like, so just because I ain't post you today or yesterday or the day after that, don't mean you still ain't my woman or whatnot, or vice versa. It don't even matter. But social media has taken a toll on a lot of things. And you also mentioned in relationships, as far as breaks up, before you move on, it's important to heal yourself, because like how you said, if you get into another relationships and they are problems, or drop it straight at your feet. Like, okay, well, this is just me right here though. Like, okay, I got problems too. Let's work together. Let's see what we can do. And, how can I help you? You can help me, and not just be this whole one-sided, I understand you're the woman. I want to, come after you, and you shouldn't be chasing me, but, let's work together. That's how I feel. And the importance also of healing before moving on in relationships.
Definitely. That self-healing, just taking, sometimes it's just good to take yourself out of the dating game and just reevaluate who you are, what your purpose in life is. Get a closer relationship with God. I know everybody doesn't believe, doesn't have the same religious beliefs, but whoever you believe in, you need to take that individual time to recenter yourself and recalibrate and figure out what your individual purpose is. Because a lot of people make relationships their purpose, and that's why they get lost, and that's why you see people, they're serial relationship people. From they get out of one and they immediately get back into another one, because they've made their whole purpose is to be in a couple with somebody else, because they really don't know themselves. Because how do you expect another person to come in and fully love you and accept you
Mm-hmm.
for who you are when you don't even know that yet? When you won't even take time to be in love with yourself and spend time with yourself, you're constantly looking for love outside of yourself. And so, just taking that time to heal, even if it was not a bad relationship, even if it wasn't a bad breakup, you still would need that time to just um, get back into yourself before you get into another relationship.
Yeah, you're right. Truly, you're right about that. You don't want to just, you know, uh, get out one relationship and go on to the next one. Like you said, you need to give yourself time to heal. Some people in relationships just, and like you said, people get in, leave one relationship, hop back into another one, just because they want to feed off someone or try to see what they can get out of someone. And also, you got people out here who just have kids thinking it'll save a relationship. Sometimes, yeah, a baby is a blessing, but sometimes the kid is not going to save the relationship or make y'all bond even better. You feel me? If y'all was having something, already going on before now, then the baby is just going to be a little extra on top of it. So, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, healing is something definitely something you need to do before moving on in relationships. We're going to move on here, you guys, on the podcast. A couple of weeks ago, the Dirk guy situation who posted his whole business on social media and stuff like that. And I hear you talk about a lot on your channel, on your page, about narcissists and stuff like that. What was your thoughts on the whole situation with him and that whole thing?
When the story first broke, I wasn't surprised at all. um I think it just kind of shows us where we are collectively as a country, as a society. The level of outrage and the level of anger that came out of this situation just showed me that as a society, we place people on a pedestal and we idolize people that we have no business idolizing. I never understood how that man got such a big following the way he did in the first place, because I never really took him seriously. You could look at him, you can look at a few of his videos and tell that he's really full of himself, he's really arrogant, he's condescending. He has an air about him that didn't never felt genuine. And so to see all the people be so mad at him about misleading people and um, tricking people or whatever, I was like, that's on y'all. That's on y'all, because y'all should have seen through the dude before he, got this big anyway. I'm not understanding. And
Mhm.
so when everybody else was mad, I was like, oh well, I mean,
Yeah.
and why y'all so mad at him with his wife? I mean, if she's coming out to publicly defend him and all that stuff, that's between a husband and a wife. That ain't none of our business. If she
Yeah.
want to look like she looking on TV, that's her business. We don't care.
You're exactly right about that.
Yeah, but he's
It-
he's one of those. He's a narcissist, but he's one of those methodical narcissists. He's always got a plan. A lot of narcissists are not so sophisticated. They can't help themselves. And so you can kind of see through them a lot sooner. But Derek Jackson is a lot more sophisticated in his narcissism. So he could be a little more dangerous.
Okay. This whole story was very interesting because, like how you said, I don't know how he got this many followers in the first place. I didn't really catch on who the guy was at the, initially, but when I look back at the video, I put one and one together, and I was like, okay, this kind of like makes sense. Two, just how we saying earlier in the show, doing everything for likes and putting everything out there. Do you feel like this should have just stayed between both of them as a husband and wife?
Well, because of the way he became famous, I wouldn't expect him to keep this secret. But I think they didn't really want it out there. But once it got out there, he quickly figured out a way to turn it around and to, profit off of it and to try to spin the story and spin the narrative for him and his wife's benefit or whatever. But really, I think he just used her as a prop, as a pawn to kind of deflect some of the heat off of him because he knew bringing her in there and having her talk about God and religion and all of that type of stuff, that was going to take some of the heat off of him. But I don't know if it made it any better. It just gave people more things to talk about. But it's a circus, and I just didn't even really want to comment on it. I didn't really want to give more attention to it than it deserved because he's a attention hungry person anyway.
Yeah, you're right. And it is crazy though. And he's a narcissist. And to come to find out, do more research. Most men are narcissists. Why is that?
That's the question. Years and years ago, I was in an emotionally abusive marriage with a narcissist. But at that time, that was a word I never heard before. I think the word now is getting more popular, and we're being able to identify the characteristics that go along with that word. But narcissists, we have been around from the beginning of time. There have been plenty of narcissists in the Bible. So it's not a new thing. It's not a new concept. It's just that now we have a definition for it, and now we know what to look out for. But in my mind, narcissists are they're more insecure than anything. And the only way to be able to survive and hide their insecurity is to create an alter ego, is to create another identity to show the world, to kind of fool the world into believing there's something that they're not. And then they have to keep that up. They have to keep that up by any means necessary. And so that's really the root of narcissism, is somebody who's deeply insecure, but they don't want you to know that. And so they're going to put on a different face and a different persona, and then they have to do everything they need to do to keep that up. So you will never find out who they really are. And they do that by using people. They do that by using status. They do that by using their looks. Whatever they can use to elevate themselves above others, to make themselves feel a little higher than you, they'll do it. They've gotten good at being able to, what word I'm looking for, adopt the characteristics of normal people to make you think, they're a good person, to make you think that they're empathetic, to make you think that they really care about you, because they know that's the only way to be able to get from you what they need from you. But they usually always reveal themselves sooner or later, depending on who they're dealing with. They really look for people who are, have low self-esteem, who are people pleasers, who are, looking for validation, and they prey on those kind of people. And they have a real good sense of knowing who those kind of people are. They can spot them and they point them out. Those are the kind of people that they use. Once you start to really figure them out and point out to them that you know what they're doing, you know who they are, they would either, try their tactics on you a little better, or they'll just leave you alone totally and go find somebody new who doesn't know who they are, what they're doing.
True. You're right about that. Erica, sit tight. And for everybody who's watching on YouTube and listening on EB Radio, don't go nowhere, you guys. I'm going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, I'm going to still have Erica in the building, you guys. She ain't going nowhere. We're going to chop it up some more, you guys. You're listening to the 1130 podcast. You dig?
Women. Yeah, they gon' hate, but they ain't stopping this. I'ma keep making hits. Dre and Wills, you know it ain't no copying. Was you sitting there on the carpet with us? Yeah, we knew we had some options. We blessed.
Everyone has something to say, a story to tell. We make it easy to share yours. So let's talk.
Regardless of your podcast setup, hit record. And from there, whether your podcast reaches 10 people or 10 million, we can help you get heard wherever listeners are.
And who knows, maybe even quit your day job.
But no matter who hears you, it's about connecting and sharing something from your perspective.
It's about having a voice and using it without anything standing in your way. Say it all with Anchor.
From the bottom, then it feel more awesome. Don't be scared of us. Just approach with caution. 1130 podcast, nigga, is you watching from the city? DC, that's where I'm from. 1130 podcast, Dre and Wills is the one.
Yo, we're back, and I appreciate you guys sticking with me throughout the break. My guest is joining me this week on the 1130 podcast, Erica Warren, you guys. She's the host of Dope Discussions with Erica, and she's a love coach. We're chopping it up and just talking about everything here. It wasn't until I had a guest on last year who was talking also about narcissists, and I came across you and your podcast, and you were talking about it also, and for someone who not familiar or don't know what narcissist is, and if they ran into someone, what's a number one red flag of someone who's a narcissist?
A number one red flag, if you're meeting someone, especially like in a dating situation, is what we call love bombing. So they will come on real hot and heavy in the beginning. They will shower you with gifts. They will shower you with compliments. They will spend a lot of time with you. They will tell you all the things that you want to hear. They will make a lot of romantic declarations about you're the person they've been looking for their whole life. You're their soulmate. They want to marry you. They want to see and make a great future with you. So they make you fall in love with them real fast. And they make you think that they gotta have you, right now. I can't wait. I want you now. And so if you're the type of person who's really hungry for that type of attention, you'll fall hard and fast. And then once they see they have you where they want you at, that's when they start to slowly, sometimes maybe not so slowly, but they start to really reveal who they really are. But it's too late because you've already fallen in love with the person that they showed you. And so now you're in this constant state of trying to make sure you get them back to the person that you saw from the beginning. But that person was never real in the first place. That was their tactic that they call love bombing. Once you're kind of, into a relationship with them and you start to kind of have a little resistance from the things that they're doing, then you'll see something called gaslighting. And gaslighting is where they make you question your own thoughts and the things that that are not right. They make you question those things like, that's not what it was, or you seeing things, or you being paranoid, or you being too sensitive. I didn't mean it like that, or I didn't do that. They gaslight you, and they're very, very convincing, so convincing to where you start to second guess and you start to question your own thoughts and feelings. And did I really see what I thought I saw? Or did he really say that like that? Or they're so far as you could catch them in the act of cheating, and they will swear to God it wasn't them, or it wasn't what you thought it was. Mm-hmm. And you will see them in the act and you will think, well, maybe I was just hallucinating. Maybe that wasn't him. That's how good they can be.
Man.
So if you're not a strong-minded person, a narcissist can drive you insane.
I appreciate the information and the insight for me and my listeners and viewers because, man, that is crazy. That is crazy. You mentioned cheating, and you talked about it on your podcast, these two subjects, and I wanted to see if you can share it with my audience. You mentioned, like I said, cheating. What is respectful cheating?
I don't know. But the thing is, I got so many requests to talk about it. I wasn't going to talk about it because my thing is there's no such thing as respectful cheating, in my opinion. I mean, once you cheat on somebody, you've disrespected them. But there's this video going around from this reality show, some woman named Megan James, and she was saying that as long as her man respectfully cheats, as long as he doesn't get the girl pregnant, or as long as he doesn't bring her a disease, or I think it something about don't spend money on her or something like that. As long as he doesn't do those three things, then it's respectful cheating. And so
Mm,
I wanted to dive into that mindset of why would a woman believe that any type of cheating can be respectful.
exactly. That is
I don't get
crazy.
it.
I don't get it either. I really don't get it. That is crazy. That is wild. But you guys, we gonna move on here on the podcast. Erica, you're a best-selling author. You have a book called Single Moms. Can you tell my listeners and viewers about your book?
Yes, it's called Dear Single Mom. It's an anthology. I think there's about 25 women in the book. We all have a chapter that we share about our experience being a single mother, either how we became a single mother, or how we navigated being a single mom. But it's just inspirational stories that we share so that other single moms can hear stories just like theirs and know that they're not alone, and know that just because your circumstances did not turn out the way that you originally planned, there's always another better plan if you follow God's plan. He always has a plan for everything that you thought was to turn out bad for you can turn out to be something good for you. You can be a single mom and you can still pursue your goals and dreams. You can still become a business owner. You can still advance in your career. You can still follow everything that you wanted to do in your life while being a single mom, because that's going to be inspiration for your children, to see that mom did it, and they can do it too. So that's what the book is all about. It's just letting you know that you don't have to be a statistic. You can actually set a standard for other single moms. And so that's what Dear Single Mom is about.
Okay, that's really, really cool. That's real cool. Shout out to all the single moms out there. What inspired you to write the book?
Well, my friend, she's a book publisher, and she brought the whole vision together. So she asked me to be, to contribute my story, as one of the authors, because this was my third book, third anthology that I've contributed to. And so, I felt like it was important to pick single moms up, because a lot of times society likes to, talk down on single moms and say, you've messed up your life, or you're a statistic, or just look down on single moms as if that was the life that they chose. There was also another person involved in making that child. We don't talk down on single fathers, so why should we bring down single mothers who have
Mhm.
the hardest job in this world?
Right about that. Right about that. They got the hardest jobs, man. My mom was a single mom for a long time, so I understand what you're saying about that. That's why I said shout out to all the single moms, though. Man, that's crazy. Before you go, Erica, and before I let you go, I got two questions for you. What are two things that you regret?
Two things that I regret. Hmm. I regret not traveling at a younger age. I regret, not just focusing on myself as a young woman out of college and just traveling and seeing the world. I regret not doing that. What's another thing that I regret? Um, I regret. No, I think that might be the only one because I think about things that I wish I could do over, but then I think about the outcome. I wouldn't be who I am
I was
today
just about
if
to
I
say
went
that.
back and changed those things.
Hmm. Right about that. That's really cool. One last one. What was the hardest life lesson to learn?
Hmm. The hardest life lesson that I've had to learn was that um, there's no such thing as being a perfect parent. And I had to forgive my own parents for not being who I thought they should be. Then I also had to forgive myself for not living up to being the perfect parent that I wished I could have been. And we have to understand that there's just no such thing as being a perfect parent. And so that freed me from a lot of anger and bitterness from my childhood.
Mm. That hit hard right there. That's where it's at because you got a lot of parents out there who like I said, I mentioned this on a podcast before. How my mom, I think it was in my documentary. How my mom asked me, I know I wasn't, did the best, or I probably wasn't perfect, but I, wanted to know that I do. I was like, yes, you did it. Nobody's perfect out here. Like I said, you were a single mom, and you did your damnedest. So like nobody's perfect. So any parent out there thinking they just, or any parent out there thinking that they just not being perfect is no perfectness out there. So you just gotta keep doing your thing. Do your thing.
Exactly. A
So
lot of times we beat ourselves up, and then when you go and ask our children, they're like, "Yeah, mom." And that was a defining moment for me one day because my children were telling me, how proud they were of me, and I was like, if I wouldn't have heard it from y'all, I just wouldn't have believed it.
mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah. Gotta be proud of you, proud of you. But you guys, we're gonna move on here on the podcast. Erica, before you go, someone wants to say something. They got a couple of words they want to share for you.
Hey, what's going on, family? It's me, Gator Beater, baby, co-host of the Down 5 podcast and co-host of the Dope Discussions podcast. Now, that Dope Discussions podcast is what I want to key in on today because I have the absolute pleasure of working on that podcast with a young lady named Erica Warren. Now, her name should always be prefaced with the word fabulous. It should always be prefaced with the word magnanimous. It should always be prefaced with the word hardworking because she is a pleasure to work with. She is all of those things plus more. Erica and I literally started doing this podcast together back in, I think, December of 2019. That's the first time we started having kind of, talks about it. And we still, to this day, have not met each other in person, which, of course, hopefully we'll be rectifying soon. But, since the day we met, we've always had kind of a kinship, a brother and sister kind of relationship. She will chastise me when Gator does some craziness, and I will always sit there and fuss at her, but it's all love. And at the end of the day, that's what I feel when I'm thinking about Erica. It's love. It's the love that we have for each other, for each other and for what we do in this podcast world, in the podcast business. She has been a light. She has been one of those people who has given me all kinds of advice. I tell her a lot of my intricate secrets and things that might be too hot for TV, but she's one of those people that I confide in and I talk to about all those things. Now, that's outside of the podcast thing. When we get on a show everything is, the chemistry's there. We're able to, make something out of nothing. There's been many shows that we've had where we'll just sit there and talk. And it's the reason why is because we both have opinions, and Erica's very opinionated, and that's a good thing because I'm opinionated too. And we can sit there and banter and talk back and forth. She has one of the most lovable personalities. I love her. She's completely awesome. I am proud to be her podcast partner, and I'm looking forward to a lot more because, as we pick up momentum, as people start listening, as the virtual congregation starts growing week by week, day by day, I couldn't think of anyone better that I could be doing this with on Dope Discussions than Erica Warren. I mean, she's an amazing person. And, like I said, I look forward to the future. I think, we've got big things ahead. She's got big things ahead. She's she's already a 2-3 time best-selling author. So she's got a lot more coming. And like I said, I'm just proud to work with her. I'm proud to have her as my sister, as, someone that I love and admire and trust. I can't really run out of words to say about her, but I can run out of time talking about her. So I will give it up to Dre. But just to let you know, Erica, love you. You have been awesome to work with, and I can't wait to see what we've got coming up because it's all going to be fantastic. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, man, he almost had me crying for a minute. Y'all got me.
Yeah. And my man Gator sent in an awesome video for you. And just tell you how much you mean to him.
Yeah, same here.
Okay.
We'll be meeting each other, I think, next weekend. I think we're going to be shooting our first episode in person together.
Okay, that's gonna be cool. When I first initially had him on the podcast and he told me the story that you guys never met, I thought that was like the coolest thing ever. To have a podcast with someone and you never met, because you got a lot of people. At least I see a lot of people who have a co-host and they might not be best or close, but they met. And for you guys to never meet, and it's so cool. So I know it's gonna be dope. It's going to be really, 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 really cool.
I appreciate it.
No problem. Once again, Erica, I appreciate you joining me this week on the 1130 podcast. Before you go, can you tell my listeners a little something about Dope Discussions with Erica, when you got new episodes coming and everything about that?
Yes, every Sunday, Dope Discussions with Erica and Gator. We stream live on YouTube at 6:30 Central Standard Time, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. So tune in to that. We also upload the new audio versions of the podcast onto all of the podcast platforms, so you can get that on Monday morning. Every Monday we upload the new episode. And that's where y'all can find us. Join, as Gator says, join the virtual congregation.
That's what's up. Erica, I thank you for joining me this week on the podcast. Before you go, any shout outs, any questions for me, anything you'd like to say?
I just want to thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you for having me. Thank you for being a part of the Pod Squad. And let's just keep up the networking. Shout out to Gator. Thank you for that beautiful message. I love you too. And we'll see you soon.
All right, Erica. Thank you. You guys, you know where to find it. Go on YouTube. You guys, go subscribe. Go check it out, you guys. Dope Discussions with Erica. They got some dope discussions, you guys. And follow wherever you get your podcast is at. Once again, Erica, stay blessed, stay safe. Keep doing your thing. Keep killing it. And thank you once again for joining me this week on the 1130 podcast. What an episode. What an episode. Erica, I thank you for joining me this week on the 1130 podcast. It was an awesome time chatting with you, chopping it up with you. Just a good time and good vibes. I didn't want to make you cry. I was like, this may make her cry. I don't know. But, I appreciate it once again. Also, thank you to my man Gator. Shout out to Gator from the Down 5 podcast. And also, he's the co-host of Dope Discussions with Erica. Shout out to Gator once again, man. I appreciate you sending in the clip for Erica. And you guys, man, if you want to check out some dope discussions, check them out each and every Sunday, you guys. They be live on YouTube. Go to YouTube, you guys, and subscribe to the Dope Discussions with Erica podcast, or listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. You dig, man? So that's going to be dope. And or, you know, for all my single moms out there who just think they just not perfect. No, man, ain't nobody perfect. You know, get a book, Dear Single Moms. Go check it out. Go read it. It's going to be all that, man. So, Erica, it was an awesome time chatting with you and just chilling with you here this week on the 1130 podcast. Great time chatting with you. Man, what a show. What an awesome show, you guys. It's been a great one. I hope everybody's week is going well. I hope everybody, day is going well. My week is going well, you guys, man. WrestleMania, you guys, was this past Sunday, you guys, and it was off the chain, you guys. I'm not going to talk too much. I'm going to see you guys this Friday on my wrestling podcast so we can chop it up some more, you guys. Shout out to Bianca Belair, 2 black women main event at night 1 of WrestleMania, and night 2, hey, it was off the chain. We gonna get into all that this Friday, you guys. But you guys, man, before I go, don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms. Follow me on Twitter at Dre on Wheels. Follow me on Instagram at the 1130 podcast. Like the 1130 podcast on Facebook. Subscribe to the 1130 podcast on YouTube. And if you're watching on YouTube, download the free EB Radio app so you can listen to the 1130 podcast on the go. For real. And you can listen to some dope music because some dope ass music gonna come on right after this podcast go on. And also you can listen to all the other podcasts here on EB Radio. For real, man. So download the free EB Radio app. And also, you guys, man, the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling. Yes, all new episodes, you guys, each and every Friday where I interview some of your favorite independent ring announcers, referees, you name it, you guys. We're going to be chopping it up and reviewing this year's WrestleMania, and what a hell of a night it was, night 1 and night 2. Bad Bunny did his thing. For everybody who hating on Bad Bunny for liking wrestling, or just been, hating on him for coming into wrestling and just not really, because a lot of guys who, entertainers, they come in and don't be knowing what the hell they doing, and they be some trash. Bad Bunny, shout out to my man Bad Bunny. Also, you guys, man, if you would like to be a guest here on the podcast, email me. That's the 1130podcast@gmail.com. The 1130podcast@gmail.com. Or DM me or message me on Facebook or social media. You know how to get down. And for Talk Pro Wrestling on Spotify, follow me on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Yo, what a show. What a show, man. This was awesome. Very, very awesome. Oh, man. Thank you, Erica, for joining me this week on the podcast. Shout out to my man Gator. Yo, Gator, we got to get together, man, and chop it up on some wrestling, though. For real. Yo, and also, the new episode of the 1130. A new episode of my documentary series, you guys, is available right now on the 1130 podcast YouTube channel. Go check it out, you guys. Until next week, it's your man Dre, a.k.a. Dre on Wheels, and I'm out.
I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. 1130 podcast, Dre on Wheels, he is the one. Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? Let's get it, yeah. No with me, yeah. I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. Let's get it. 1130 podcast, Dre on Wheels, he is the one. He the one, nigga. So let's breeze, baby. He the one with me. So breeze, baby. Let's get it. You with me. Yeah, they gon' hate, but they ain't stopping this. I'ma keep making hits. Dre and Wills, you know it ain't no copying. Was you sitting there on the carpet with us? Yeah, we knew we had some options. We blessed, we ain't got no problem. Speak something that I gotta be honest. Told him he was gon'